Hey, this this is a bit surprising. The judge is only 10 minutes late. How about that? Yeah, this was unexpected. I was brewing coffee, getting set up, stuff like that. Hold on. Yeah, but it's in. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Sound on. That is on. Booster is on. Have that on. Yeah. All right. Everything is set up. We are waiting for everything to start. I can hide that one. There. All right. Welcome to the show. Yesterday was fireworks. Miss Bennett did some, interesting denials of what happened back in 2013. And said some things, not much for the prosecution to actually work with, since she didn't actually go with the complete Mr. Bean thing, with the complete Mr. Bean thing, as in, I don't remember anything, I don't recall. She actually answered. So now then it became the defense cross-examination. And as it turns out, the prosecution's investigator told her, the Miss Bennett, that she only talk to him, only. That, in my opinion, is witness tampering. Because the defense always have access to the witnesses. And the assistant district attorney Love, she's a mean mofo. Really mean. She brought up things that was completely unnecessary, as the death of Miss Bennett's mother. Completely unnecessary. But and if I understood Miss Bennett correctly, is that she didn't want to be there, but apparently she never said she wouldn't be there. So how much of this is this parading her up to the stand in a prison suit and handcuffs? How much of this was Miss Love's attempt to discredit her as a witness completely? And it seems to me this was pre-planned. And the judge, after that piece of testimony, because the judge is the person who signed that arrest warrant, because the affidavit alleged, then he has to. And but he did place Miss Bennett in some sort of hotel room with state supervision overnight. Even he couldn't explain away why Miss Bennett had to be in jail and be brought up in prison jumpsuit. As you might remember, he asked the prosecution, didn't you offer her civilian clothes? Well, no. And I'm thinking to myself, at what point can Judge Glanville, when does he stop working for the prosecution? Yeah, Heather, I agree. Apparently, they lied in the affidavit about her not coming to court. Because this is, just because somebody says they don't want to be in court does not mean they won't appear in court. I mean, see, Mr. Bean, he definitely didn't want to be there. He still showed up. So why was this so different? Well, I assume it is because how do I put this? The investigator the investigator fucking up. That might be it. Apparently, I got the information via Twitter that the investigator is an investigator Hamilton. And investigator Hamilton is the one who signed the affidavit that Bean told the investigator, still telling him what to say. And which, of course, Mr. Steele denies with a passion. So this might be the an investigator who is lying. Might be. Don't know. My coffee is done. I will go get myself a cup. You enjoy this view, meanwhile. Let me find that one. Right, I'll be right back.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Sharp, so happy you could join us.
I apologize, Your Honor.
All right, where's Miss Bennett? Can we bring her in and have her take a stand, please? All right, Lieutenant Walker, can you summon our jurors, please? All right.
Thank you.
Hello again. As Teresa tries it, first I said there was a safety issue, and then at the end didn't want to put her up at hotel police with, yeah. Hello, Snivels. Yeah, there's so much in this that is so very suspicious. So very suspicious. Let's put Mr. Jingles up there. Morning. For you who don't know, you can have this cup, you also. It's in my merch. I think it is, hold on. I will list it.
They're requesting 5 minutes.
Did you tell them that they supposed to have got here at 9 o'clock, and so what are we doing?
Okay, it seems this time it's a juror who is late. It might be that Luce Angel. She didn't want to be in a hotel with the police. Not that the state didn't want that. Yeah, what the judge said with the representative of the state, that might be someone from the courthouse. But it's ultimately, if you want to guarantee safety, sadly, it has to be the police, unless the court hires someone. I think Teresa Troy's Miss Love requested that bench she go to hotel and then said investigator wanted her to go home. Okay. Either way, she wasn't in jail. So today, the jury will see her in civilian clothing. Good point, Heather. Jury isn't ready because they are used to Mr. Glanville being always late. So they always think they have more time. Right, let's see here. Here's the thing. I thought this wasn't supposed to start for another half hour, so I am a bit unprepared. This over there. Dun, dun, dun. Live chat. And yeah. Hit the like button, but you already know that. I don't want to I don't want to beg, I don't want to shout at you. I'm not Megan Fox. I don't do the admonishments very good. Just hit the like button, folks. Yeah, and the comment yesterday from Miss Love. Are you afraid of Mr. Williams? That's just vile. Let's see here. Lowering the volume a bit. Let me know if how sound is and everything. If you think I'm too loud or too quiet. If the court is too loud or too quiet. The StreamYard thing, what I hear is sometimes not what you hear.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning.
Morning.
All right, we're going to continue with the presentation of the state's case. Good morning, Ms. Bennett.
Come on.
You're still under oath, madam. Okay, all right. Mr. Steele, or no, Mr. Adams, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, let's see. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
See you again, then. All right, so same ground rules from yesterday. You can't hear me, you don't understand the question. Let me know. I'll be happy to repeat myself, okay?
Yes, sir.
You no longer in custody.
No.
You were released on yesterday evening, is that right?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Bennett, I want to pick up where we left off yesterday. Okay?
Mhm.
You remember, I was asking you some questions about your interaction with the district attorney's office. Remember that, right?
Yes.
And you recall that we talked about the different investigators that you who contacted you and your communication with them. Remember that?
Yes.
Talk about investigator Hamilton. Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. How about now, Mr. Harvey? Anything for you, sir? All right.
So it is investigator Hamilton.
Let me ask you this.
Who
one.
might have lied
Yesterday,
before in an affidavit.
during the period of time after you'd been arrested by the district or pursuant to warrant from the district attorney's office, you were actually being held back in a holding area. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You recall that I came back there with Mr. Steele, gentleman back there, with the grayish white hair. Mr. Matthews, this gentleman right here with the very gray hair, right? And Miss Westmoreland. Yeah.
I'll sustain that objection.
At least you got here. And Miss Westmoreland, you remember that?
Yes, sir.
We had a chance to talk yesterday, isn't that right?
Yes.
And when we were back there, we talked about the communications that you had with the district attorney's office, right?
Yes.
Remember, the state objected furiously to them talking to her before she took the stand. But the judge, to his credit, gave them 30 minutes. And they used it well.
Now, you also remember that after you came out, you were asked some questions by the assistant district attorney, Ms. Love. Is that right?
Yes.
You remember her asking you at one point, are you afraid of Jeffrey Williams? You remember that question?
Yes.
And then she may not have said Jeffrey Williams. She may have said, are you afraid of Thug? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And your answer was no. Is that right?
Yes.
You have no reason and had no reason to be afraid of Jeffrey Williams. Is that right?
No, I don't.
Okay. In fact, when you testified yesterday, you were on edge. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You didn't want to be here.
Yes.
And part of it is because of the interactions, and your reaction yesterday was based on the interactions you had, not with Mr. Williams or anyone over here, but with the district attorney's office. Isn't that true?
Yes.
You told us when you were back there that they had been, quote, harassing you for a number of months. Is that true?
Yes.
And in fact, you said that prior to coming out and testifying, that the only person you were afraid of, you didn't want to be around, was investigator Hamilton from the district attorney's office. Is that true?
Yes.
And you're saying that to us, and then you're testifying.
I see here only 30 minutes. Well, that was because yesterday, the fact that she was arrested and held overnight, that came as a complete surprise to the defense. Nobody informed them about this. They have had access to her for 3 or 4 months of conducting interviews, sending an investigator over and that sort. But yesterday, they got 30 minutes due to these new circumstances. And by the way, happy Good Friday.
Testimony subsequent to that was based on the interactions that you had had with Mr. Hamilton. Isn't that right?
Objection, Your Honor, vague as to the question.
I sustain the objection.
Okay. Mr. Hamilton had contacted you prior to yesterday. Is that right?
Yes.
He would call you from time to time. True?
Objection, vague.
What is, can I have some,
I'll rule the objection.
Yes.
let me just answer the questions, okay? Mr. Hamilton had harassed you, is that correct?
Yes.
In fact, you told us when you were back there that you didn't want to come out and see him because he had sexually harassed you. True?
Yes.
You
Who?
felt like, and you told us that you were really concerned about coming
Your
out
Honor,
here.
I'm going to object
Case
as to relevance.
I'm gonna overrule the objection.
Miss Love, time to sit down and shut the fuck up.
The times when he would contact you, it seemed like he was trying to date you.
Yes.
In your interaction with, and then Mr. Hamilton, you actually met with him at different locations. Is that right?
Yes. I met him at a restaurant.
Japanese restaurant off of Moreland Avenue a
Yes.
couple months ago.
Maybe, I think February.
Okay. He wanted to meet you, supposedly to talk about the case,
Yes.
but he wanted to meet you by yourself.
Yes.
You did not feel comfortable with the interactions you've been having with the district attorney's office, And so you brought your 20-year-old son along with you.
Yes.
Any questions?
So Your Honor, just have him break it up so we'll know what she's asking.
All right, I'll break it up. You didn't feel comfortable going to meet him by yourself.
Nope.
Because you didn't feel comfortable going to meet him by yourself, you brought your 20-year-old son with you.
Yes.
Was that before or after you met with Mr. Hamilton and he told you, don't talk to nobody else?
That was after. He told me before that. I came in, I seen Miss Love, and that's when I told y'all yesterday that me and Miss Love, we only discussed for a brief because they was like trying to tip me. And that's when I went to talk to him and a couple of more people from their team that I don't see right now. And then he ended up getting me by himself and asking me to give him my number and that he's gonna contact me and that I ain't need to speak with no one else. And if they contact me, do not answer or speak to them. Only him.
Okay. He told you that he would like to take you out when this was all over, didn't he?
Yes.
And then he's, as far as you know, he is an investigator, law enforcement investigator for the DA's office, right?
Yes.
You didn't have a problem discussing with the district attorney's office this supposed incident from back in 2013, right?
No, I never had a problem.
Right. And in fact, when going back to you being asked yesterday about whether you were scared or anything like that, when you met with the DA's office, you met with them so often that you actually lost your job, didn't you?
Yes.
They would contact you and say, hey, you got to come talk to us. And because of the number of times that you had to just kind of drop everything, leave your job, and come talk to them, you lost your job, didn't you?
Yes.
I sustain the objection, Mr. Form. You can rephrase, Mr. Adams.
You lost your job because of having to go meet with them, right?
Yes, but they wasn't meeting with me every time they tell me to though.
Subsequent to or after you lost your job,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton, the investigator, told you, don't worry about that. Take care of getting you another job, right?
Yes.
When you met with them, when you met with, I don't know, there was actually a time where you came here to the courthouse to meet with either an investigator or someone else from the DA's office, true?
Yes.
Okay. Were you supposed to meet with Ms. Love? Were you supposed to meet with Ms. Love?
Yes.
And you were brought here by an investigator, Investigator Long, right?
Yes.
You ended
Okay, court has a freeze frame. I will refresh.
Investigator Long, right?
Okay,
Yes.
they have a freeze frame.
You ended up not
That's on
speaking
the
to Ms. Love
court feed.
that day.
That's not me
Am I correct?
this time.
It's just for like a brief.
See, I will see if I find another one.
Objection asked that the witness answer the question, yes or no. I didn't understand the answer.
No speaking objection, Miss Love.
I'm gonna rule the objection. She's answered the question.
When you, just to be clear, when you said a little while ago that Ms. Love tried to tip you, is that what you said?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Because when I met with Miss Love at the witness that she discussed. It was some
Okay, I'm going to share this instead. And let's go back a bit.
I'm gonna rule the objection. She's answered the question.
When you, just to be clear, when you said a little while ago that Ms. Love tried to tip you, is that what you said?
yes,
What did you mean by that?
because when I met with Miss Love at the witness that she discussed, it was some things that we had talked about, and she told me like it was some things we talked about that wasn't gonna be brought up, but she gonna bring it up to me again, or we gonna have to discuss it.
Okay. All right. In your conversations, either with investigator or DA, they were asking you questions about 2013, correct?
Yes,
And you were asked yesterday whether you recall this supposed incident from back in 2013. Remember that?
yes,
Your answer yesterday was you really didn't remember, right?
yes,
Not talking about yesterday now, but going back a couple of months, or whenever it was you met with them, you told them then, and them being the district attorney's office, whether it's an investigator or a DA, you told them then, I really don't have a lot of memory or remember much about 2013, all right?
yes.
Now, I want to ask you specifically about this supposed incident from back in 2013, okay? Do you recall making a report to Zone 3 Police about an incident that you said occurred on May the 12th of 2013?
Yes, sir.
You do not?
Yes, sir.
Oh, if I remember correctly, Ms. Love was speaking about Mother's Day. Let's see here. Well, Mother's Day was never on May 13th in 2013. That was Sunday, May 12th. No wonder the witness said no about May 13th. If I remember correctly about yesterday, Ms. Love spoke about Mother's Day on May 13th, but Mother's Day was May 12th. Okay. So, might be splitting hairs, but if Ms. Love asked about May 13th, but the incident was May 12th, the witness was answering correctly. And yeah, let's see where we go from here.
Is it true that you told police officers in 2013 that Jeffrey Williams, BK, and someone you said was Jeffrey Williams' brother came to your house on Mother's Day?
Yes, sir.
Is it true that you told the police that they robbed you on that day?
Yes, sir.
Is it true that you told the police that BK took your gun and then shot your gun into the wall?
Yes, sir.
That didn't happen, did it?
Yes, sir.
Back in 2013, I want to just ask you directly, and that was a long time ago, right?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that you were in a different place in your life back in 2013?
Yes.
In 2013, you had a child that had just been born, right?
Yes.
You had another son who was about 10 years old, right?
Yes.
and you were seeing a young man by the name of Micah Anderson. True?
Yes.
There was no investigation, so there's no whole, to my knowledge, and the state didn't present any pictures, not so far, about any holes in the wall, any gunshots, any stolen items, just that report. So she might have done it for other reasons, but the cops never really investigated it. And then nobody was arrested, nobody was charged, nothing happened until now. So far, the only person being in jail because of that incident is the actual witness.
If I can just have a minute to. Ms. Kokomo, are you sharing the screen? All right.
Listen till the states could have gotten something to prove it. If the best we have is her saying it didn't happen, I don't think I buy it. Yeah, but here's the thing about everything about this incident. It's not even an underlying act under the RICO charge. No, nobody was arrested, nobody was charged, nobody was convicted. All we have is her claim back in 2013 this happened. And now she claims it never happened. That's it. And if the cops never actually investigate it, there's nothing here, in my opinion. This is just one other way under the vagueness and broadness of the Georgia RICO Act to make somebody look bad. And allegedly, the state's investigator, Mr. Hamilton, might have lied in his affidavit that got this woman arrested. It might have been in retaliation for her not doing what he said. And this is the same investigator who told Miss Love that Mr. Bean told him that Mr. Steele coerced Mr. Bean in some way or form. And so this Mr. Hamilton seems like a very shady character, the investigator for the state.
Judge, may I approach the witness with what's been previously marked and entered as DS4?
Yes, you may, sir.
My question is, understand?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's previously been entered into evidence as.
Yeah, listen till. This isn't even a charge under the RICO charge, an underlying act under the RICO charge. I don't know why she's here. I have no idea, except trying to make Mr. Williams look bad. This is, and I've been saying this for months, the case against these defendants is extremely weak. We are 4 months in, and this is the best the prosecution has. It's shit. Complete garbage. And people are in jail, no bond, for those going into soon. Mr. Williams and the others have been in jail for almost 2 years over this. And if this trial should have lasted 6 months, according to the judge. We are 4 months in now. We're not even close of the state wrapping up their case in chief. They have called, this is, I believe, their 43rd witness. Their witness list was skimmed down from 771 to roughly 400. They are 10% of the witnesses in after 4 months. Mama Rowe, can she sue for sexual harassment? Well, you can sue anybody for anything. If it has merit, I don't know. And damages because she lost her job. Well, here's the thing with the state. They have, prosecution have more or less immunity to everything. They can be as much assholes as they want to be and get away scot-free.
DS4, that's the exhibit number. All right. Is that a picture of Micah Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Micah Anderson is the father of your child.
Yes.
He is also certainly back in 2013, he was a person who was in music. He was a rapper.
Yes.
His rap name was Ola Playa.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm looking for I'm bored. All right. With the court's permission, may I have Ms. Kokomo publish on the screen DS4, please?
Yes, sir, you may.
Whenever you're ready, Ms. Kokomo. All right. For the benefit, can you see, is there something on your screen next to your left hand?
Yes.
That is Micah Anderson, correct?
Yes.
That's the father of your child?
Yes.
Okay. Father, child, or children?
Child.
Okay. The youngest one?
Yes.
Okay. And that is the person that you just referred to as Ola Playa.
Yes.
Also goes by the name King Slime?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I want to show you what's been entered into evidence as DS5. I'll help you.
Speeding up a bit for
Show you DS5.
a few minutes
Do
behind.
you recognize that picture?
We will probably go on a break anytime.
All right. Mr. Kokomo, and again, with court's
We'll
permission,
catch up.
DS5 on the screen, please.
Yes, you may, sir.
Thank you, Judge. All right. Now, you can look at the screen. You see that the screen depicts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals, correct?
Yes.
That's a
The
booty.
person in the middle, that's you, isn't it?
Yes.
And you have on a T-shirt on the back, which on the back says "Free King Slime." Yes.
Yes.
And on the bottom it says "Ola Playa."
Yes.
And that is a picture in that on a T-shirt of Mr. Anderson, Ola Playa, correct?
I can't hardly see it.
Okay. How's that? Is that a little better?
Be careful
Yeah,
with the
right
screen
here.
there.
Okay. Well, that T-shirt that you were wearing on that day was essentially a T-shirt saying "Free Ola Playa" or "Free King Slime." I mean, you're referring to the same person when you say King Slime and Ola Playa. True?
I wouldn't say it's true, but I remember this day. I was at a club and someone was performing, and that shirt, it was given to me.
Okay.
And I wore it, and we performed some of his songs.
Okay. When you say we, who's we?
Me and the people in the picture.
You were in the music game as well?
Was I?
Yes.
No, I just performed his songs.
Okay.
He wasn't there.
Got you. All right, you can go take that down for right now, Mr. Kokomo. So again, back in 2013,
Bless you.
you were living at a location on Confederate Avenue, correct?
Yes.
So in fact, 980 Confederate Avenue. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
All right. Now, I don't want to embarrass you, but the truth is, you and Mr. Anderson stayed at that location together, right?
Yes.
Is it true that y'all sold drugs out of that location?
Yes.
And again, I want to be respectful, and this is just aimed at getting an answer, but would you consider yourselves, you and Mr. Anderson at that point, to kind of been like the neighborhood drug dealers?
No.
All right. I mean, folks came to your place to get drugs, true?
Yes.
In fact, as far back as like 2008, there was a burglary. Someone kicked in the door and searched through that house when you weren't there. You thought they were looking for drugs. Remember that?
You said when?
About 2007, excuse me, I said 2005, as far back as 2005. Sound about right?
I object as to the relevance of something that happened in 2005 before this incident occurred.
Well, we're talking about 2013.
I sustain.
Okay. Around 2013, there were drugs being sold out of 980 Confederate Avenue. Sure.
Yes.
All right. In fact, in June of 2013 is when you and Mr. Anderson were both arrested for some drug trafficking charges in Clayton County, correct?
I think it was in June. Yes.
And a little bit after that, I think maybe in 2014, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you and Mr. Anderson were again arrested for some drug charges, specifically at 980 Confederate Avenue here in Fulton County, all right?
No, I remember I was arrested, but he wasn't arrested again with me.
But you were both charged, right?
I'm not sure
Okay,
if we both charged.
all right. Let me ask you if it would help to refresh your memory if I showed you a document in regards to that Fulton County case. Do you think it would help to refresh your memory?
Okay.
All right.
I need to fill up my cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
I'm going to show you what I've marked, at least for right now, as Williams 213. All right. I want to show you this document, and specifically I'll couldn't count this, okay? The 6th page of that document, and ask you whether or not looking at that helps refresh your recollection as to whether you and Mr. Anderson were charged together in Fulton County.
Hi, Patty. Says Niklas, you're spoiling us. I didn't know you were going to stream, so I have to catch up on 2 times speed again. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to stream, but then this cluster F happened, and I had to. Once I heard she was arrested, okay, now I need to, because some of you know there's family matters with a sudden illness, which I have to do as well. But I need to check this out. I would have anyways, so I might as well stream it.
Say 2016.
All right, but does that refresh your memory about whether it was just you charged or whether it was the both of you that was charged in that Fulton County case?
I wouldn't know both of us charged.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if both of us were charged at the date that you saying. Could be saying 2016. I guess they maybe charged us together. I wasn't sure. I just know when I got arrested, I was by myself.
Okay, you were by yourself when you got arrested.
Yeah.
But you were arrested based on drugs that were found at 980 Confederate Avenue.
Yes.
Your Honor, this time I'm going to move for entry into evidence of Williams number 213 as a certified document.
No objection, Your Honor. It's the same as State's Exhibit 29 Alpha, which we will be admitting to your anyway.
Oh, I'm strong 13.
Then shut the F up, Miss Love. Oh, we were going to show it anyways.
Yes. And while I'm at it, I'm going to also move for entry into evidence of what I've labeled as defense exhibit number 212.
Thank you, Tracy Fagan. So glad you are. I need something different. Oh, oh, this is different. This is different. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Any objection to Williams 212?
As to only 212, yes, Your Honor. And
Mr. Jingles is here beside me.
212 is improper impeachment.
Can I see it, please?
Yes. May we approach?
That would make it sidebar counter 115. 50 days of trial, 115 sidebars. Jesus. Oh, now we can catch up a bit.
I have no objection to that, except if they're combined.
Thank you. All right, non-court report, I'm going to leave over here. All right, so Ms. Bennett,
Hello,
what we have somewhere around that period of time is
Hello. Look at the
some
happy
drugs,
kitty.
drugs are being sold out of 980 Confederate Avenue, right?
Yes.
You were subsequently convicted of a drug offense in Fulton County based on drugs found at 980 Confederate Avenue, true?
Yes.
And you were subsequently convicted in Clayton County based on drugs that, well, a drug offense in Clayton County, right?
Yes.
And that was you and Micah Anderson in Clayton County.
Yes.
You and Micah Anderson in Fulton County as well, true?
Yes.
All right. Now, isn't it true that in May of 2013, Jeffrey Williams, DK, and someone named Buck actually came to your apartment at 980 Confederate Avenue?
Can't be like he.
Yes. Do you remember that do you remember, if you do you remember that sometime in May of 2013, Jeffrey Williams, DK, and someone named Buck came to your apartment?
No.
Okay.
Buck. Why do you call yourself Buck? That's a smash for ridicule, but that's besides the point.
Do you remember that those three individuals came to your apartment, and it wasn't Mr. Williams, DK, and Mr. Williams' brother, but Mr. Williams, DK, and this person named Buck? You remember that?
No.
Okay. Do you remember that they came there for purposes of buying or getting some drugs from your apartment?
No.
Okay. Do you remember that they came there and actually smoked with you and got high with you?
No.
Do you remember?
Your Honor, I'm going to object, assuming facts that are not in evidence. And because the question is being asked, do you remember?
I'm Mr. Standing Dish, just rephrase.
Seriously? The entirety of the questioning about Mr. Bean and okay, say, do you recall instead of remember? Because that is Ms. Love's favorite question starter. Do you recall? I can't do an impression of her voice because I'm bad at speaking cunt.
Is it true that when those three individuals came to your apartment?
Objection, Your Honor. It is still assuming facts that are not in evidence. Because he said it's true when.
Is it true that when those individuals came to your apartment, you smoked with them and got high with them?
No.
Is it true that when they left?
Your Honor, I must object. There is no fact in evidence that those three people came. And so when Mr. Adams keeps saying, is it true when?
Uh-oh, Ms. Love, you alleged they did show up, and now you claim they didn't?
He is assuming facts that are not in evidence. And unless he
Your Honor, if I may just respond. I'm sorry? Well, Judge, I have to ask her the questions. I have a good faith basis to ask her the questions, and I have to ask her the questions and then have her either admit or deny before I can then subsequently.
There's no predicate, that's what I'm saying, that's what she's objecting to, so you gotta lay a little more predicate, you may have a good basis, but there's no predicate. She's, the objection is as an error.
Did those three individuals that I've just named, did they leave your apartment and Buck take a quantity of heroin that you had at your apartment?
I never had heroin, no.
Did, at some point after those individuals left your apartment, you have a conversation with Micah Anderson about the fact
Assume
that
that's
Buck
not
had
evidence.
stolen heroin
Objection,
from
Your
your
Honor.
apartment?
No.
Objection.
I'm over objections.
You'll have to guess.
The way Ms. Love vehemently objects, I think she knows all of this. Yeah, it's pure speculation from my part. But every time she objects this vehemently, sometime later, we find out she knew this all along. It has happened before in this trial. So I'm assuming she does this because she already knows it, but it's, yeah, that's not the narrative she wants to present to the jury.
Did you, and then for purposes of I think there's a lot of talking going on, did you, at some point after those individuals left your apartment, did you have a conversation with your boyfriend, Micah Anderson, about the fact that Buck had stolen some heroin from your apartment?
No. No.
Okay. Did you receive a phone call after that incident with someone apologizing for Buck stealing the heroin from your apartment?
No.
Did you discuss with Mr. Anderson that Jeffrey Williams was going to pay for the heroin that Buck had stolen from your apartment?
Objection, Your Honor, that would be hearsay, and there is no exception for it.
Number one,
Unless, Your Honor, someone is on the list to prove that up, which there's not.
there is, she cannot,
Defense.
Yeah, she does this because I could almost bet money she knows all this already, Ms. Love.
and so when around that time, right, and I'm talking about May of 2013, do you recall in the police report that Ms. Love asked you about making with Zone 3, that you told Zone 3 police officers that you had received a phone call apologizing for a robbery at your house?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Okay. The truth is that what actually happened in 2013 was that whole situation with Buck stealing heroin from your apartment. Isn't that true?
No.
I mean, there certainly was no incident where DK shot into your apartment or anyone put a gun to your head. That never really happened, did it?
No.
Do you recall on May the 13th, right? So we got Mother's Day, that's May the 12th, right? You remember that? If you remember, it was a long time ago.
No.
Okay. Do you remember anything about May the 13th having a police officer by the name of Officer Kirkland coming to your apartment?
No.
Do you remember an Officer Kirkland and someone from the Atlanta Police Department crime scene coming to your apartment?
I don't know what officer came to my apartment, but I don't think it was on the 13th. But like my building, it had been shot at, so I don't know like exactly what date it was, but it just wasn't my specific apartment. It was the building.
Okay. So if I heard you correctly, around that same time, I know you don't remember the exact date, but around that same time, your building had been shot at?
Yeah.
Okay. Not specifically your apartment, just your building.
Yeah.
And your apartment, or the building, right, have multiple apartments, is that true?
Yes.
Do you recall around May the 13th receiving multiple phone calls from Officer Kirkland trying to ask you questions about what you had supposedly reported?
No.
You've never had to come in to a courtroom to testify about any supposed robbery in 2013 at your apartment, have you?
No, this all no.
In 2013 or 2014 even, you were never contacted by anyone from the district attorney's office saying they wanted to talk to you about a robbery that occurred at your apartment in May of 2013, true?
Nobody never contacted me. 2013, 14, 15, none of that.
The first time that you were contacted or anyone asked you any questions about something that happened way back in 2013 was about a year ago. Is that right?
Yes.
And you told them that there was no robbery at your apartment in May of 2013. Isn't that true?
Yes.
I mean, you were never, you're not even aware of your name being included in any sort of a RICO indictment, are you?
No.
Or any incident from 2013 even being a part of any RICO indictment, right?
No.
Did anyone from the DA's office, anytime you spoke to him, whether it was an investigator or assistant DA, ever tell you, listen, we just want you to come in and say something about Jeffrey Williams? Anyone ever say anything like that to you?
No.
Who may I approach? Is what you're supposed to do.
Have you ever, do you know what the nature of the relationship is between, is or was, between Jeffrey Williams and Micah Anderson, All Our Player?
Yeah, they did music together.
Okay. They've been to the studio together, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever, and this happened, I mean, I'm talking back in 2013, all right? They did music together back then.
Probably before that.
You were aware that they have been friends or a relationship since before 2013 and after 2013, right?
Yes.
And certainly, there's no indication, the child that you had in 2013 is Micah Anderson's child, right?
Yes.
All right. Would you, if you were robbed, someone put a gun to your head in
Your Honor, I'm going to object as to speculations.
Okay. Was there ever any time in 2013 where you said to Micah Anderson, Jeffrey Williams and two other guys came to my apartment and one of them put a gun to my head?
No.
Was there ever a time where you said to Micah Anderson, Jeffrey Williams and two other guys came to my apartment and one of them shot into the wall while our child, your baby, was there?
No.
Was there ever a time where you told Micah Anderson that there was this robbery and shooting at your apartment and Micah Anderson still continued to record music with Jeffrey Williams?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. Was there ever a time where you told Micah Anderson, hey, Jeffrey Williams, DK, and some other guy came and stole and robbed me and shot up my apartment? And then after that, Micah Anderson still continued to record music with the person who was supposedly involved with shooting up his house with his baby there?
No.
That's a good point. If this really happened, why did Mr. Anderson continue to make music with a person who fired a gun into his house where his newborn kid was? No, that as I assume, no matter how good of an artist you are, you will not keep recording under those circumstances.
Were you ever, did you ever have occasion to go to the studio when Mr. Anderson, All Our Player, and Mr. Williams were there recording music?
Yeah, I've been before.
Okay, so you've been there with them together, right?
Yes.
Would that have been before May of 2013 or after?
Might have been before. I'm not sure.
Okay. But certainly you would tell this court or you tell this jury that after May of 2013, you and All Our Player still continue to have a relationship with Jeffrey Williams, right?
After May, I had got arrested. So yes, but I ain't having like no problems and then with him, like we ain't had no problems.
You were arrested in Clayton County in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you actually went into custody, went to prison in, was it 2015?
Yes.
And you were in there for how long?
I think like 2 years, 6 months.
Okay. Now, you are still on probation for the Fulton County case, right?
No.
No? Is that done?
Yes.
Okay. Are you on probation in the Clayton County case?
No, I'm done with that too.
You've got another case that you're on probation for, right? A misdemeanor suspended license?
Objection, Your Honor, as to improper impeachment and improper introduction of character regarding what Mr. Adams just asked.
Goes to interest and bias.
You got it?
When you met, okay, let's get to it. When you met and spoke with the DA's office investigator, Mr. Hamilton, he was trying to get you to come to court, true?
Yes.
You told him that you couldn't come to court because you had a probation case in Clayton County, right?
Yes.
And so Mr. Hamilton knew that you had a pending case or a probation case in another jurisdiction based on what you told him, right?
Yes.
And what you told that investigator was that I can't come to court the next day because I got to go do 20 hours of community service in Clayton County. You told him that, right?
Yes, because they said if I ain't do the community service, they were going to arrest me and suspend my license.
That's what Clayton County said, right?
Yes.
And so you didn't come to court because you had to go do the community service.
Objection, vague on a date, please.
Okay. On Tuesday of this week, let me see, the 26th, right? The 26th of March, 2024, all right? You didn't come to court in the morning because you had to go and do the 20 hours community service in Clayton County, true?
No.
Okay. When did you have to go?
I had to go prior before then, but on Tuesday I didn't come to court because I received a message from Mr. Hamilton like kind of late because I had ended up blocking him because sometimes I was getting phone calls even about court, so I had blocked him. But on Tuesday I ended up responding to him later because he told me that he had a relation with the judge and he was gonna get a warrant out on me and get me arrested. And I told him I would come in, but they ended up coming pick me up, like surround my house, move my cameras and stuff like that. And had my 11-year-old outside for like an hour and a half by himself because he didn't know where I was at because it's only me and my kid.
Because you got locked up?
Yeah.
This Mr. Hamilton is a bad dude. They removed her cameras. I assume. I mean, there's no reason to remove cameras if you're picking somebody up for court, even under an arrest warrant. Where are those cameras? This is really... Yeah, Brittany. Hopefully she kept those texts. Yeah, I hope she will turn them over to the judge, saying, I will show up to court. And the prosecution didn't care. They arrested her anyway. I hope everything is safe, because this Mr. Hamilton's actions here is not, in my opinion, not only questionable, they are illegal. And if there should be an arrest warrant out, it should be on him. This is so over the line.
After your conversation with Mr. Hamilton of the DA's office?
Yeah.
Those texts, were you speaking with Mr. Hamilton and members of the DA's office by way of text messages?
Sometimes text, sometimes phone call.
Okay. You still have the phone that you shared those messages with the DA's office. Those messages still in that phone?
Yes.
Who has that phone?
Mr. Hamilton took my phones and my ID.
Oh, that is evidence tampering and witness tampering. He took her phone and her ID. Jesus Christ, this is criminal conduct. And yes, as Heather Mosher says, this investigator is tight with the judge. Jesus Christ. Well, I saw this earlier. Where is it? Well, it's a possibility that the judge has become a witness in this investigator's malfeasance. Yeah. At this time, a motion to hand over the phone to a neutral part should be done immediately.
You have a moment, Judge.
So this is
Ms. Bennett, I thank you. That's all I have.
the judge yesterday said he had to sign the arrest warrant. Yeah, but he did it on the investigator's sworn affidavit, that this woman would not show up in court and needed to be arrested. And according to this witness, that is a lie. She was going to show up for court, but they arrested her anyway. And under what grounds did he take her phone? For what purpose? I don't know. This is so crooked from the prosecution. These are, in my opinion, illegal activities from the prosecution. Because Mr. Hamilton is a representative of this prosecution. What he does reflects the prosecution. He is a part of that team. They could actually have a RICO charge, ironically, on this prosecution.
Thank you.
Your pursuant. I'll wait and see someone else's decision.
Any other questions? Any other things?
Okay.
No one? All right.
Your Honor, pursuant to Brown versus the State, 314 Georgia, 193.
Shut up.
Can we approach that now?
Yes.
Oh, she tried to do a speaking objection now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, there's going to be fireworks up on the stand. And we are at sidebar counter 116. Yeah, 116. Brittany, there will be no consequences. No, it won't. Because this judge more or less works for the prosecution and has done that for this entire trial. But I guess they will try to have this stricken of some sort, because or the Miss Love will try to have perjury charges. But either way, that phone is essential, because that phone contains all the text messages between investigator Hamilton and this witness. And since this witness testified into the record, that phone and the text messages should be on the record. Oh boy. Now I can speed ahead and they are looking at something. Okay.
All right, can we bring Ms. Bennett back in, please?
Ms. Bennett, did you testify on cross-examination with Mr. Adams that the reason you did not appear in court Tuesday, March 26th, was that you were afraid of Lieutenant Hamilton?
Yes, I had blocked him.
Did you send to anyone in the district attorney's office a communication stating that you did not go to court because you were in the hospital?
Yes, I sent that to Mr. Hamilton.
And did you send a communication to anyone in the district attorney's office stating you did not care what the judge said, no one could make you testify, and did you give specific, explicit instructions as to what to tell the judge to do? Objection, motion.
No.
I will rule the objection.
Did you tell anyone in the district attorney's office that the judge could kiss your ass?
No. I told Mr. Hamilton to have the judge to call me so I could tell him how being harassed. That's exactly what I said.
Your Honor, permission to treat the witness pursuant to Brown?
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Ms. Bennett, isn't it true?
I'll object to
Okay, and I'll overrule the objection.
And now the judge is pissed because he's been made a fool by listening to the prosecution. So what they are doing here is using Mr. Hamilton's affidavit as a way to impeach Ms. Bennett. Because unless they show the text, all right, I have connectivity issues. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Am I unfrozen? I hope so. Hold on. I just got a phone call from a family member. I have to take this. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I have to take this. Listen to what's going on meanwhile.
It's already been made.
Ms. Bennett,
I'm sorry?
I'd also like to see these messages that she's referencing, because she has those in possession.
That's a different issue, but I'm ruling the objection at this point in time. We can take that up a little later.
Ms. Bennett, isn't it true that when you met with me the first time, I was with Chief Investigator Randolph when we were at the Wendy's on Norland Avenue?
I don't know his name, but you were with somebody.
Isn't it true we met you in an SUV and you pulled up with your 3 sons?
With my 2 sons and my stepson.
Isn't it true that you described the boys or the young men with you as your 3 sons?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you told me that one of the children was not yours biologically, but you promised that child you would never leave him?
Yes.
Isn't it true you were about 2 hours late to that meeting with us?
No.
Isn't it true that you told us that the reason it took you so long is you were handling another matter with your cousin and a domestic violence situation?
Yes.
Isn't it true that when I
What
first
they got?
asked you,
Your Honor, can you get it to explain her answer?
Hold on. Madam, did you have something else you want to say?
Yes.
Go ahead and finish your
I
thought.
was just gonna ask her what my cousin domestic violence got to do with this. Like, see, though I mean she be
You're being examined,
No,
so
okay.
you have to answer the
Okay.
question, okay? All right.
Isn't it true, Ms. Bennett, that you indicated to us you did not want to speak with us about the 2013 incident?
No,
Isn't it true that you said, when I asked you, or at least when I told you I wanted to speak with you about something that happened to you in 2013, that you told me I blocked out that entire time in my life?
yes,
Isn't it true that you teared up and said that you had gone to prison, and while you were in prison, your mother became terminally ill?
yes,
Isn't it true that you said, and had on a shirt when we met, that was commemorating the date and your mother?
Objection relevance.
Overruled.
yes,
Isn't it true that you began to say, when I asked you, did you ever get counseling? Better yet, did I ask you about counseling?
yes,
Isn't it true that you told me that you had wanted to harm yourself because of everything that you had gone through?
yes,
Isn't it true that I told you that you should get some kind of counseling for that?
you told me you'll help me, but you didn't.
Thank you for saying that. So we discussed counseling.
Yes,
Isn't it true that I communicated with you beyond that via telephone at various times?
Objection made.
Overruled. I mean, I'll sustain the objection. You can rephrase.
Isn't it true that we talked even after that?
yeah,
Isn't it true that I called you to check on how you were doing?
and probably
That would be continuing the harassment, maybe.
like 2-3 times after that.
Okay. Isn't it true that I told you that I wanted you to speak with our victim advocates at this office?
Objection
Yes.
relevance.
Why would she trust that person when the rest of your office are corrupt assholes? Why should your victim's advocate be anything different?
Overruled.
Objection, pass on to evidence.
Overruled.
Isn't it true that I asked you about Jeffrey Williams while we were in Moreland, on Moreland in the Lincoln
Do you have a recording of this, Miss Love?
parking lot?
Yes,
Isn't it true that I asked you whether Michael Anderson and Jeffrey Williams were friends before an incident in 2013?
I don't remember you asking me that, but they was.
I was going to say that. And isn't it true that you said that they were?
Yeah.
Isn't it true that you never once said that the incident did not occur?
Yeah.
Now, isn't it true that you were called down and appeared here in this courthouse in the hallway earlier this year, before this week?
Yes,
Isn't it true that I came outside and sat down on the bench next to you?
So
I don't remember
fucking
you sat
what?
down, but you came out.
Isn't it true that I asked you how you were doing?
So fucking what? So fucking what? So fucking what? You knew, Miss Love, about Mr. Hamilton's harassment. You knew. So here's the thing about showing compassion. If you're a cunt, your compassion means nothing.
Yes,
Isn't it true that you told me you were beginning to feel like you wanted to harm yourself again?
yes,
Isn't it true that I asked you what caused you to feel this way?
yes,
Isn't it true that you told me you, Miss Love, you are the reason I'm starting to feel this way?
mm-hmm.
Isn't it true that I then left your presence?
Yes,
Isn't it true that a victim witness advocate came to talk to you?
I don't know who it was.
Do you recall a young lady about my height with curly hair coming to talk to you?
I don't know if she was your height.
Do you recall a young lady coming to talk to you with curly hair and an accent?
No, I remember a lady, but I don't think she was tall. But then it was like a couple of ladies,
A
so
couple of ladies, thank you.
yeah.
Do you remember a shorter lady and a taller lady coming to talk to you from our office?
Yes, I think they were from.
I don't care, Miss Love. Your entire office is corrupt. You keep... apparently, you knew about Mr. Hamilton's misconduct. And he's still hired by you. Then your fake compassion and now you're called out on it in court, and now you're angry, so you shout at the witness. Here's the thing, Miss Love. None of her testimony was necessary. None of it. Zero. But you couldn't let it be, because you're a cunt.
Office.
Do you remember them talking to you about you wanting to harm yourself?
Ask
One
the
of them was
answer.
talking about that, and then one of them was talking about something else.
Do you remember them calling the Georgia Crisis Hotline for you?
Yes, I think they did.
Do you remember indicating that you did not want to wait for them to arrive and you would rather call an Uber?
No, Mr. Hamilton told me to leave. He told me to call him and leave. The lady told me to stay because they called the hotline. And he told me he told her she ain't staying. She finna go. She all right. She all right.
Is it your testimony that Mr. Hamilton instructed someone from our office to leave you all?
Yeah, I went with him. They stayed. I gave her my phone number. Matter of fact, she just went. The lady who I talked to, she just went. I seen her earlier. She had on a gray suit.
She was in the courtroom earlier?
She said, no, she came in their room back there with me. She said she was going to get me some paperwork now, so that she was finally getting the paperwork that what she supposed to be getting me a long time ago.
Was that Ms. Kelly?
I don't know her name.
Did she have a short bob?
Yes,
Okay, and she shorter than I am.
yes, but she said she taller
Everybody's
than me,
shorter
but she
than
not.
you are, Miss Love.
So did you meet with a Ms. Kelly who is shorter than I am and a young lady who's taller than she is?
I don't know her name, ma'am. Just said that.
Ms. Bennett, isn't it true that you repeatedly stated you did not want to come in and testify?
Yes,
Isn't it true that never once did you tell anyone in the district attorney's office that this incident where you alleged that Thug, DK, and Thug's brother robbed you did not occur?
yes.
She doesn't have to tell you squat because you are harassing her. She doesn't have to tell you anything. Nothing. Until she gets on the witness stand. She really doesn't have to tell you anything. Yeah, good, Tracy Fagan. Why would she say anything she knows the prosecution are going to use against her?
Each one of y'all I talked to, I told y'all the same thing, that I didn't know nothing about what y'all was talking about, and y'all start pressing the issue like you.
Oh, and by the way, saying I don't want to come in is not equal to I'm not going to go in. Two different things. But you arrested her anyway because you knew you fucked up. So you had her paraded into court in prison jumpsuit and handcuffs. You arrested her. There was no need for it. Now, and for an incident that isn't even in the fucking indictment.
You gotta go in, you gotta do this, you gotta do that.
Isn't it true that the only thing that we told you you had to do was to appear pursuant to your subpoena?
That's a subpoena.
Ms. Bennett, is it your testimony that you never received a subpoena to appear in court?
No, yeah, I received word of mouth or text when I got to come to court. I never had a paperwork telling me I had to come to court.
Ms. Bennett, so your testimony is that you were never served a subpoena?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
I can't say I was served a subpoena, but I know the first time somebody came and seen me was like last year. And that's when they first talked about the incident, and they showed me a police report. And they was like, to your knowledge, did you make this? When I read the police report, it didn't make sense. And I told them no. And I don't know his name. And he let me read it, and he was like, do you remember anything like this happening? And I was like, no. And then he had me sign the paper, but he had the police report on top of the paper that he had me sign, so I didn't get to read that paper. And I asked him what I signed for, and he told me I was signing because he need proof that I came and seen him, and he seen me, and I had to sign that he seen me. And so I asked him, I'm like, I'm in any type of trouble, like, do I supposed to go to court? Because I'm like, he talking about I was a witness to a crime in 2013. I'm like, sir, do you know what year it is? I was like, I can't really tell you nothing about 2013 beside my child. Like, a lot of things had happened to me, and I told him I couldn't discuss that with him. And he just told me to sign a paper stating that he seen me, but he didn't tell me what the paper is. He didn't let me read it. It was another paper on top of the paper, so I didn't even know what I was signing for. I probably could have signed my life away because he didn't let me read it.
Isn't it true that you were served a subpoena on that day and you were given that piece of paper?
I wasn't given anything. Only thing I ever had was cards with different attorneys or investigators or some like numbers and stuff like that on there.
What did the person who talked to you that day look like?
I can't even remember. I just know it was a man. I know it was a man.
Was it a tall man?
I don't remember him being tall.
Isn't it true that it was Lieutenant Hamilton?
No, it wasn't him.
And
I know
isn't it
exactly
true
how
that
he
you did
looked.
not- I'm sorry, what?
I said I know exactly how he looked.
And isn't it true that you had no knowledge of a Lieutenant Hamilton on May 13, 2013?
No.
So you did not have knowledge of a Lieutenant Hamilton on that day. Is that correct?
Ask and answer.
How many times?
Hold on, wait a second. I'm gonna sustain the objection.
And isn't it true that on May 13th of 2013, I have never spoken to you in my life?
Repeat it.
Isn't it true that on May 13th,
Yeah, I believe this guy right here. I pinch your nose. That's Investigator Hamilton, apparently.
2013, you had never spoken with me in your life?
I never said I did.
I'm asking a question though. Is it not true that you've never spoken to me up until that point?
No.
So is it fair to say you didn't know me or Lieutenant Hamilton on May 13th, 2013?
I never said I did.
She did not answer no, she just answered speaking to us.
I all rule.
No, I answered. You asked me. I said no.
I'm sorry, no to what?
To the question you just asked me.
That you did not know either me or Lieutenant Hamilton.
And I said
on
no.
May 13th, 2013.
I said no again.
Okay, thank you for
3
clarifying.
times.
Now,
Here's the thing. Ms. Love is doing. She's wording the question, so it doesn't really matter if you say yes or no. She's doing straw man questioning here, which is so disingenuous, just to make the witness uncomfortable and unsure. This tactics is so vile. For you who don't know, I do labor law. I mean, my day-to-day work is negotiations, mitigations, evidence valuation, and stuff like that. That is what I do on a daily basis. And sometimes people try to do this to me as well. And I'm not having it. And I don't give legal advice. But my tactics back is, can you clarify? Can you clarify? Can you clarify? Can you clarify? Can you clarify your question? Can you clarify your question? I mean, I can do that for hours if I have to. And it's fun. Because you have these well-trained party opponents. Yeah, but I've been doing this for 30 years. I've met people like them for 30 years. They all think I have these new tactics. No, you don't. It's a shit tactic.
you were asked by Mr. Adams on cross-examination about an exhibit that was tendered by the defense. Do you recall me showing you State's Exhibit 29 Alpha Alpha? Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And is 29 Alpha Alpha your Fulton County conviction from 2016?
Yes, that's what it say.
Say it again.
Yes, that's what it say.
Okay. Your Honor, the state tender State's Exhibit 29 Alpha Alpha, the self-authenticating certified document reflecting Ms. Bennett's conviction.
All right, I have to, for CC, I have to go to the Law and C-word stream. There.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And is 29 Alpha Alpha your Fulton County conviction from 2016?
Yes, that's what it say.
Say that again?
Yes, that's what it say.
Okay. Your Honor, the state tender states Exhibit 29 Alpha Alpha with self-authenticating certified document reflecting Ms. Bennett's conviction here in Fulton County.
Any objection to states 29 Alpha Alpha?
If it's the same as the exhibit that I've entered previously, then no, I have no objection.
All right, it's admitted.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Bennett, isn't it true that you are the person that signed this plea of guilty form? It was filled out and you read it.
Yes,
And isn't it true that you entered a guilty plea to the charges on this indictment?
yes,
Isn't it true that this indictment number is 16SC 140484?
yes,
Isn't it true that you pled guilty to participation in criminal street gang activity?
that what was on there?
I'll let you read it. Take your time. Let me know when you finish.
Yeah. Now the state is destroying their own witness credibility. Yeah, they have to, because she made allegations against their investigator. So now she has to.
Yes,
And all of this for nothing.
And isn't it true that you also pled guilty to possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute
yes,
and possession of a Schedule IV controlled substance?
yes,
I'm gonna now show you State's Exhibit 28 Alpha Alpha and ask you to take a look at State's Exhibit 28 Alpha Alpha. Okay. Is State's Exhibit 28 Alpha Alpha the same exhibit that Defendant Williams' attorney, Mr. Adams, showed you and labeled as Defendant's Exhibit 212? I'll let you look at this page.
you're saying is these the same?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Isn't it true that you in the document labeled Defendant's Exhibit?
Defense should be objecting this witness instant on trial, but never interrupt your opponent when they are making a mistake. Yeah. And here's the thing. If the state destroys her credibility, then the claim back in 2013 can't be relied on either. So they don't really need her credibility. And if she's discredited, well, that's good for their clients. So this is the state fucking up royally. But we don't know how the jury reacts to this.
Exhibit 212, you pled guilty there, or at least were adjudicated guilty for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute,
yes,
and for having control of cocaine, a controlled Schedule II drug. Isn't it true that those are the charges you pled guilty to?
yes.
Isn't it true that you never pled guilty to possession of heroin?
I ain't never had her.
Okay. What gang are you a member of?
I'm not a member of a gang, but they charged me for it.
Which gang did they charge you with being a member of and participating in criminal street gang activity?
Of blood gang activity.
And which blood gang was that?
I don't think they said
Which blood gang were you affiliated
with ABG.
What is ABG?
They never told me.
Who never told you?
When I got my charges, they never told me. They just said I was affiliated. What anything that my baby daddy was affiliated in, I was affiliated to the same thing.
And when you said my baby's daddy, you're speaking of Micah Anderson, aren't you?
Yeah,
Now, isn't it true that you have shirts, clothing with the letters ABG on them?
Do I have shirts and clothing with them on there?
Isn't it true that you own at least one article of clothing with the letters ABG on it?
Yes, I don't have a shirt with it on there.
And on that article of clothing where you have ABG, what does it stand for?
It was a rap group.
What's the rap group name?
I can't think of the name of it.
Is it your testimony it doesn't stand for Atlanta Blood Gang?
No, I don't think it stands for Atlanta Blood Gang.
Are you related to Rayshawn Bennett?
No.
Do you know Rayshawn Bennett?
Yes.
Are you all close?
No.
Did you know Donovan Thomas?
No.
Did I ask you about Donovan Thomas when we met on Moreland Avenue?
I can't remember.
Do you remember tearing up when I asked you about Donovan Thomas?
Oh, no, yes.
Okay, you said, oh, nut, yes, so,
Yeah, I had to think about who you said.
all right. Is nut the name that you called Donovan Thomas?
Yeah, I knew him by a real name too, but I didn't hear what you said.
Okay. How long did you know Donovan Thomas?
For a long period of time.
Since you were what age approximately?
15 or something.
Since you were about 15?
Yeah.
So did we talk about him being killed when you and I met on Moreland Avenue?
Yeah, you said something about him.
And did you indicate that it was messed up what happened to him?
Yeah.
How is it that you knew Donovan Thomas or no?
We went to school together.
Were you all in the same grade?
No.
Who was older?
I don't know which one of us were older.
And would you call him a friend?
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Adams asked you on cross-examination about your relationship with defendant Jeffrey Williams. I'm going to show you what.
All right, Gigi. Everybody say bye to Gigi, my first and best moderator. Bye, Gigi. Thanks for being here.
We will mark as State's Exhibit 30 Alpha Alpha. And Your Honor, I'd like to show to counsel for the defendants what I marked.
I need to fill up my coffee again.
30 Alpha Alpha.
See you in a few seconds.
I'll just give them the copies of it. You can keep. I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 30 Alpha Alpha. It's a photograph. Do you recognize the people depicted in State's Exhibit 30 Alpha Alpha?
May we approach?
Oh. That would be sidebar counter 117. Jesus Christ. And now we are over 200 here watching. Thank you so much. That's a really nice number for me. Remember to hit that thumbs up. It helps promote the channel, defeats the YouTube algorithm, and all of that things. Thank you. Now I can jump ahead a bit. Okay. Ah, they're on a break. Dun, dun, dun. They're on a break, they're on a break, they're on a break. Yeah. I posted my secondary channel. It's pinned on top of the chat, where I read Scandinavian folklore, stories, and sagas. And I can give you a little taste. This is the story about how the volcano Katla got its name. Katla is the largest volcano on Iceland, and this is the lore about it. Once upon a time, there was a monastery nestled among the Jurassic green hills of southern Iceland. Nearby was the impressive Mýrdalsjökull Glacier, a mountain of ice looming over the south coast of this unforgiving land. Run by a friendly abbot, the monastery thrived with villagers and locals coming to work together and chip in. A community of people working hard to survive the harsh Arctic winters. Among them was the housekeeper, Katla. Powerful and frightening, it was whispered that she was a witch, though none dared speak it to her face. It was rumored that she used her black powers to create a magical pair of briefs, and whoever wore them could run as fast as the wind and never get tired. Feared by all, including the abbot, Katla had a terrifying temper and most avoided her when possible. The hardest worker in the abbey was a shepherd named Bartzi, simple-minded but friendly to all. Bartzi's usual duties were to take care of the sheep, which, if you have ever been to Iceland, you know are everywhere. Terrified of Katla, Bartzi was careful to never offend her, but sometimes he couldn't find all the sheep to herd, and she punished him. Voicing his fears to the abbot, he was told not to worry, that he had no reason to be afraid of the housekeeper. I know I shouldn't say anything, sir, but it's Katla. She really scares me, said the shepherd in secret one day. Don't worry, my child. We are all God's creatures, and everyone can be saved, the kindly old abbot replied. Little did he know how much he would come to regret those words. One day he returned home from a long day of working in the fields to find Katla waiting for him. Shaking down to his very boots in terror, the shepherd stood silent while Katla yelled that one sheep was missing. Getting ready to leave for a party with the abbot, Katla warned the poor shepherd that he better find the missing sheep before they returned, or else. If you don't have that missing lamb back in its pen before I return, don't bother coming back, she cackled. Scampering off in fear, the shepherd panicked about what to do. He spent all day looking and couldn't find that one sheep. What to do? What to do? If only I had a horse or somewhere to find that stupid sheep, thought the shepherd to himself. The sun was starting to set, and fearing he would be out at night, looking high and low in the dark, the shepherd began to panic. Suddenly, he got an idea. Katla's magic briefs. If he could find them and wear them, he was sure to find the missing sheep like that. Running to her room, the shepherd searched high and low until he found the magical black briefs. Pulling them on, he ran like a bat out of hell all over the farms and fields until he found the missing little lamb. Hightailing it back to the monastery, sheep in tow, he quickly put Katla's briefs back where he found them and waited for them to return, pleased with his quick thinking. Little did he know that Katla was all-powerful and knew immediately what he had done. Livid with the shepherd for both stealing and trying to outwit him. Katla lured the poor shepherd down the wine cellar. "You stole my medical briefs! I know it!" shrieked Katla at the cowering shepherd among dusty bottles of red wine and mead. "No one could find a sheep like that so fast in the dark." Shoving the poor shepherd into a giant vat of wine, Katla drowned the shepherd in a fit of rage. Leaving him inside the vat till spring, she went back to work as if nothing happened. The abbot and everyone else at the monastery thought he disappeared while looking for the sheep. After a few months, the weather grew warmer, and the level of wine was dropping so low that Katla was sure the abbot would find the shepherd's body sooner rather than later. Fearing discovery, Katla ran away from the monastery as fast as he could towards the Myrdasjökull glacier. Jumping into a crack in the ice, Katla the witch wormed her way below, discovering a dormant volcano beneath the glacier. Searching for the entrance, she finally found her way inside, burrowing her way into the volcano. Shortly after, there was a huge eruption, causing a tidal wave of glacial flood all over the south coast of Iceland, destroying everything in its path. Since that day, the volatile volcano that sleeps beneath Myrdasjökull glacier has been known as Katla, and even now she causes fear among foreigners and Icelanders alike. That was the legend of Katla. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye. Yeah, so that is my secondary channel, where I just read in stories like that. I have this book. It's called Swedish Folk and Fairy Tales. I have this book, East of the Sun and West of the Moon, Old Tales from the North. And I also have this one, Nordic Gods. And then I scour internet libraries for other stories and sagas. So that is what I'm publishing on that one. Roughly once a week, I will have a new story out. Okay, we are still waiting for them to come back. And the Eddas, those are available online. So at times I will record some of the Eddas as well. Okay, they are on a break, and as you saw earlier, I got a call from a family member, and so I kind of need to get some family matters done. What I will do is that I will come back later today with the rest of her testimony, and I do believe they are only doing half a day today. So, yeah. So let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Let me just do they are really being assholes about redirecting nowadays YouTubes. I will send you over to Broken Baker. He is doing a stream about the Ruby Frank journal. So you can watch that. Meanwhile, I'll be back in a few hours after I've dealt with the family matters. And yeah. Dun, dun, dun. So thank you all for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to try to interpret what's going on with some legal expertise, a lot of snark, name callings, insults, curse words. And as I always say, hug your family. Unless your family's shit, then fuck them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Okay? Until next. Okay. Bye-bye.